What's up, everybody? It's your boy King Hussle. And yes, it's the best money and credit channel on YouTube. So make sure you subscribe and hit the all notification bell. So whenever I drop new sauce and lessons, new methods, and giveaways, you will be the first one to be notified. You'll be the first one to know what's going on. And hey, you might be the first one to win something for free. So make sure you subscribe and hit the all notification bell on all the YouTube channels. Also, make sure you follow me on my Twitch, King Hustle Live. I do all my freebies and giveaways from those YouTube channels and the Twitch. So make sure you subscribe and hit the all notification bell so you won't miss out on nothing. Also, make sure you follow me on all my social media platforms. All you gotta do is click the title on every video. Once you click the title on every video, at the bottom of the description, all my social media links will pop up. All right. Got a lot of fake King Hustle pages out there, so please get a FaceTime verification call or video. Make sure you see this face. Make sure you are doing legit business and you are getting what you paid for, right? And before we get anything started, this is all educational purposes only, not telling anybody to do anything. So let's get this thing started. Hey, let's get this thing started. Hey, what to do, my real King Hustle fans, supporters, subscribers out there, my real Hustle Nation Empire family members, and we are back at it again with the gems. Back at it again with the sauce. Back at it again with the information that's going to turn you into a boss. So you tired of being a zero? You ready to be a family hero? Listen up, take a seat, get your notepad and get your pen, because you already know when I drop these videos, get them notifications. It's going to be some information that's going to help you win or keep you entertained. And in today's video, we will talk about these new bank methods that's going on that's really taking over the game now. It's a lot of people out here that's entering the scam world, becoming scammers and fraudsters, and not so much hackers, but there are people out here that's learning how to do cybersecurity and becoming hackers. And a lot of people think scammers is just one thing. Fraud and scams and hackers all fall under the same thing, and it's not. Hackers, scammers, and fraudsters are all three different people, and a lot of people don't understand that. So today's video, we're gonna be discussing the difference between scammers, fraudsters, and hackers. These new bank methods is going on that's starting to trick the system and bypass security databases and loopholes and different, just a lot going on with these banks because at the end of the day, wherever there's money being made, there's going to be some type of scam or fraud being committed. And banks are the number one institutes or the number one businesses that provide money for people. So people are trying to figure out how they can trick the bank or get over on the bank into getting some of that money. So with that being said, let's get into these gems that's gonna help you win or keep you safe. So bank fraud. Well, first of all, we'll get into bank fraud, scammers, fraudsters, and hackers. First of all, those three people are not the same. Scammers are people who social engineer, trick, or manipulate somebody into sending their money on their own with their with them authorizing it. So people who be like, so let me give you an example. So when people be on the internet sending their money to anybody because they said they got this, or they got the pints of the lean, and they got the Mary J, or they got the methods, just anybody say anything, and that person willingly sends their money for something illegal that they're not supposed to have, that's a scam. So that's what scammers do. They social engineer, manipulate, or trick somebody into sending their own money willingly. Now, fraudster is somebody who basically steals somebody's money. So goes to somebody's account or goes into something that's has money into it that's connected to somebody. Like that's a fraudster. So when somebody goes to a bank account, wire transfer funds without your authorization, then they can see that. Then that's fraud. So with people not knowing that, people think scams and fraud fall under the same thing and are the same thing, which is not. See, when it comes to bank accounts, they are FDIC insured, federally insured from fraud, not scams. And a lot of people think when they get scammed that the bank is supposed to cover it, and the bank is technically not liable or not responsible for anybody being scammed. Only fraudulent activities. When you're not given your authorization, or they can see that you didn't give your authorization on these payments. So scammers, social engineer, trick, manipulate people sending money. Fraudsters basically steal money without your permission. The hackers are the ones who get into systems, databases, computers, and servers, and all this different type of stuff, steal information and sell it to people to do whatever scams or fraud methods that they need to do. So that's the difference between the three. And people need to understand that. It's like anything in the world. You got your workers and you got your plugs. The hacker is basically the plug who get all the information and they sell it on the dark web and people who buy it are the workers. I mean, then there's the workers. So these new bank scams, these new bank methods, they have evolved. Check fraud has evolved, credit card fraud has evolved, loan identity theft fraud has evolved. Everything has evolved because as the companies in the world and these places make it easier for the customer, they're making it easier for the scammer as well. So everything has a pro and a con to it, and these fraudsters and scammers are starting to figure out the loopholes to be able to exploit these pros and cons. So by that being said, scammers are starting to figure out how to social engineer somebody, scam somebody into sending their own money willingly or make it seem like they sent their own money willingly. So they're using these OTP bots, SIM swapping, different things like that because as the world evolves, these scams and methods get evolved. And they're starting to everybody know that our phones have our passwords saved on them. Our phones are mini computers basically, and anything with a computer, I mean with a chip, a system, a database like phones, computers, anything that's running off servers, which is everything, can be compromised. That's why everything is always being compromised. So the scammers and fraudsters are starting to say, okay, a lot of apps are Coinbase, bank accounts, you name it, is all on phones. People got these apps. So if they can transfer the service from their phone to from the victim's phone to their phone, now they can download these applications, get in, utilizing their number, and do whatever they want to do, drain accounts and do all different type of stuff. So that's one way of these new tactics, new methods that people are starting to utilize, especially with Chase Bank, because Chase Bank has different protocols and different security databases that's starting to become vulnerable that a lot of scammers and fraudsters are starting to exploit. So Chase Bank has been a target of a lot of scams and fraud lately because their security databases is literal vulnerable and it's allowing people to do certain things, especially on the scam and the fraud side. So SIM swapping, people are getting information, people's information, changing their service to their SIM card and download apps and getting into accounts and wiping them clean. Now, how can somebody get this information? Now, like I said, as the world evolves, the scams and the frauds will evolve. There are places on the dark web that sell banks database, I mean that they give you a list of people who bank with them, their information and all that. So then they got these OTP bots, and then you can just on Telegram, ClearNet, the dark web, you can find these all over the place. And these bots are basically spoofers, and what it does is it allows somebody to basically put any number that they want to utilize, and when they call or text somebody, that number pop up, and that number might be from anywhere. So now remember social engineering. So now scammers are saying, okay, instead of doing all that hard work and try to find some passwords to basically hack somebody's account and get into it, we just gonna do it like this. So what they do is they get these OTP bots. They get the list from people off the dark web. So they might buy a Bank of America list, a U.S. bank list, a Chase bank list, Navy Federal, any type of bank list. So let's say they got a U.S. bank list. They put that first number and they're gonna utilize the fraud department. That's if they're the fraud department for that bank. So they're gonna put the fraud department for that bank number as the sender. So when they call and text people, that's gonna be the number to pop up. And the receiver number gonna be from the list, from the people who they know for sure got a bank account with that bank, because they don't want to just be sending out random text messages, and these people don't even got no bank account with them. Like, that's a scam. So why not? They say why not just get a list of people who actually got bank accounts with her. So once they get the bank accounts, they send out numerous text messages. Hey, are you trying to purchase this at Best Buy for $500? Hey, are you trying to transfer $3,000? Now, by these people actually having a bank account with that bank, they're going to believe as it's real. So they're going to be alert. They're going to be paranoid. They're going to be scared. They're going to text back. No, that text message is going to go back to that bot. And then they're going to send out another text message. And they probably got these text messages are pre-written and just copying and pasting. So then they gonna say, okay, our fraud department will be in contact with you soon. They wait a little second, then they call you, and that number will pop up the actual fraud department's number. So now they talking to you on the phone like they the fraud department. But this is the thing: people get so in a world of fright and fear that they're not paying attention to what's going on. So sometimes the scammer or the fraudster might start asking you personal information like, what's the password you trying to, what's the username you trying to change it to? And they'll send the person their username. And they'll say, okay, what are you trying to change it to? Then they send them a new one. They say, okay, what is your old password? What is your password? And they'll send them their password. They're like, okay, what are you trying? Like, they just basically tricking them to believing that it's true. And by them giving them this information, they're able to get into their account. So this way, when they put the information in to log in, they get that OTP password is going to the victim's phone. But they're acting as if they are the people who sending the code. So they'll say, okay, can you tell us the code that we just sent you? They're gonna tell them the code, and they're gonna put the code into the login, then they're gonna be into that victim's account. Then what they do is they make it seem like your account, that victim's account, is gonna be down for 24 to 40 hours while they do whatever they do, and people believe it. And they change the password, so if they try to log in, they can't get into it, and then they do whatever they do, and then they, after a while, they trying to get into that account, and it's still this password not working. They call Bank of America, and then that's when they really find out, or they like that's what they do. So then you got some scammers or fraudsters that actually trick people into going to send money or wire transfer money from their account. Now this all right here is scamming, which banks don't insure, because if they see on their end that all these payments and wire transfers were authorized, then that's not their fault, because they don't know what's going on. They don't know if you sent that money out to somebody trying to portray that you didn't, that somebody else did it. Like, they don't know what's going on because it shows that it's authorized. So only time banks really recover money is when it's fraudulent activity, and so there's not a lot of fraudulent activities. More scamming activity goes on with these banks, especially with identity theft. People getting loans, credit cards, and lines of credit utilizing other people's names with these pre-built CPNs, not CPNs, but pre-built CPNs. And like I said, you get a $50,000 loan under somebody's name, that's a free $50,000 for the scammer or the fraudsters, but it's also a $50,000 loss for either the victim or the bank. And if it's for the bank or in the victim, they gonna want to find out who did that, so they're gonna do their due diligence. So that's why people are starting to really shy away from certain methods and go towards other methods, because of the loopholes of the protocols. Banks don't go after people if they're not gotta pay the money back. They only go after people when they gotta pay the money back. So if you go into somebody's bank account without their authorization, you wire transfer some money, the bank's gonna be on your bumper. But if you make it seem like, or the scammer makes it seem like all these tried transfers were authorized, the bank not gonna do nothing about it because they ain't got nothing to do with that. Because it's a scam, it's not fraud. And knowing that knowledge will keep a lot of people safe, keep a lot of people aware of what's going on, because we get these text messages and calls all day, every day, and some people fall for it. So like I tell you guys all the time, get y'all Norton LifeLock. Norton will monitor all your social media accounts and financial accounts to make sure no suspicious activity is going on, and it'll also monitor the dark web to make sure none of your personal information on there for anybody to buy that can potentially allow you to get loans, credit cards, lines of credit cards, apartments, etc., etc. So make sure you guys are getting your Norton LifeLock to keep yourself protected. Make sure you guys are freezing all three of your credit bureaus, TransUnion, Equifax, and Experian, especially if you're not utilizing your credit for anything at the time. If they're frozen, nobody can get in your credit, nobody can look at your credit, nobody can do nothing with your credit. So make sure you guys are freezing your credit bureaus, TransUnion, Equifax, and Experian. Make sure you guys are getting new debit and credit card numbers every so often. We tap, swipe, insert, and order online all day, every day. And every time we do, our information is stored in the database. And as we all got iPhones, we all get them text messages. Your password has been part of a data leak or compromise. And so this is all about being more safe, being more cautious, and being more aware and staying 10 steps ahead, because If that you got a new card, new information, now old information is stored on a database that's now been compromised, it won't affect you because that information is no longer valid. So it's all about being more safe, being more cautious, and being more aware out there because this is a crazy world that we live in, and these are things that's really happening. So, with that being said, be more safe, be more cautious, and be more aware. Shout out to all my real King Hustle fans, supporters, subscribers out there because without y'all, there'd be no me. Y'all motivate me to keep going. You motivate me to keep dropping the sauce, and you motivate me to keep y'all entertained. So, shout out to all of y'all. Anybody out there that's tired of being broke because it ain't no joke, let's get to work. FaceTime one-on-one limited gyms are $1,000. But for limited time only, I'm doing it for 600. Yeah, 600 cash out a Bitcoin payment. Once the 600 in cash up a Bitcoin balance, send me a screenshot. Let me know your payment ready. And we will go from there. All right. No screenshots, no replies, no 21 questions. And please do not yell me. Make sure y'all book y'all seat on the webinars Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays, 250. Make sure y'all book y'all seat on the crypto tour. Make sure y'all book y'all seat on month-long mentorship. Make sure y'all checking out my vendor platforms on Telegram and the Potato App Millionaire Network. Still looking for people for the production company. Make sure y'all subscribe and hit the notification bell. All my YouTube channels, my Twitches, my IGs, TikTok, Snapchat. Make sure y'all check out the crypto bro because it's changing people's lives. Make sure y'all get in there when y'all fit in with these load ups, 100 and up. Send me the screenshots. Let's get to work. But for 250, I do it for you. Just sit back, relax and enjoy the ride and get your funds. And with that being said, it's your boy King Hustle. Y'all know how I get down in these videos. I'll see you at the next lesson video or live. Thanks.